For those of you who've been around here for a while, the outpost is traditionally for us something like a size 14 foot in a size 10.5 shoe. And you get to experience a little bit about what we get to experience here when we have a full house. And one of the mantras that I like to throw around is, that's the way we like it. And so for those of you who are feeling a little, it's warm, and I'm just like this, and there's no space for me, I want to say I'm sorry. I see you sitting there, and I've sat there too with lots of opportunities. Forgive us for our meeting in here, cram you in here, but it is a little bit of the way we like it here. We're thankful for this building and this place that we have to meet. My name's Jeremy Krause. I'm one of the pastors at First Free. My title is family pastor, and so I get to have a hand in birth all the way to college students, even helping a little bit with our young adult launch that's coming. I get the office upstairs here and work with both really excellent people and some of my best friends in the student ministry, and I've been doing student ministry for going on year 11, and I think this is the first year that I've had a chance to actually focus on college students, which is primarily my focus, which is some of what I just wanted to be able to share with you face to face. Jordan is really leading the charge on our high school ministry. He spends his time and energy giving leadership and direction to much of the programming and the leadership and the leaders and ministry plans and execution. And then Lucas is, of course, giving all of that vision, direction, time to middle school ministry. And so though Jordan is really the natural person now for high school parents or high school volunteers to touch base with, I just want you to know I'm willing and available to meet with you at any time. I'm happy to sit in on meetings, answer questions. There's going to be times when you may feel, what I'd really like is to be able to talk about a high school ministry issue, and Jeremy, I'd like you to be there too. To which I'd say, I'd love it. It'd be my pleasure to be able to be there. I'd like to think, quite connected with much of the high school students and plan on being that way. But I don't want any of you feeling that I'm not available or accessible to you. If you need a little green piece of paper, you could raise your hand and the green fairy will bring him around to you. We'd be happy for him to fly. He floats in that. But I just wanted you to know I'm so happy to serve you and want to be connected with you and praying for you. And so as Jordan takes over really point person leadership of high school ministry, the way Lucas has in middle school, I'm still here and happy through some of this transitionary phase. So there will be lots of times where we'll be dropping into high school ministry, or as we put on our little emails, HSM. There will be times I'll be around. That's not going to change at all, but I am being granted some bandwidth to give some primary direction to college students, which I'm really excited with. We want to have a really robust ministry all the way through. So even today, I was on campus, got to meet, 500 different students during some of the WSU days as students walk around and everybody tries to give them 1,000 things. But that was really fun. So I wanted you to be able to hear from us kind of what the staff piece looks like. Mary, Jordan, Lucas, and I, we have a meeting every other week where we get to talk all student ministry stuff. And you guys are on my prayer list. I pray for you that you would have wisdom and vision as you train your kids up. When I first started in student ministry, I thought, oh, if only parents knew what I knew. I was 23. Boy, I really knew a lot. The older I get, the less I know. And I've got 2 little ones, and I'd really like it if some of you be on the volunteer team here in about a decade when they're still stepping into this. I've given so much time and energy and thought to teenagers, and I want to help you in any way I can. And I'm not only available, email, phone calls, meetings to talk to you, I also want to be proactive. And one of the things that we just sent an email out on yesterday, trying to find the pump, was just thinking through internet safety for your homes. I'm just a really strong advocate. I'd say I have a very strong opinion that there should not be an internet-enabled device in your home that's not being monitored by you. Pastor out of Seattle, Washington, who likes to play the shock factor game, he says, just might as well put a loaded .22 gun next to a kid if you're going to give them an unfiltered internet access machine. Hyperbole, probably, but I'm telling you, I've sat with countless kids, talked through the dangers of the internet, those that you might be aware of and some that you aren't, And I just want to encourage you, one of the best ways to do that is, of course, being in a relationship with your kid, that you can talk freely and openly. And as I understand, 8th grade for females, that's a real doozy of a year. Those of you who have 8th grade girls, bless you this year. I've heard that can be tricky. Maybe it's different times for different maturity there. For guys, maybe it's that sophomore, junior, senior year, they kind of get that ick thing. And bless you for those of you who seem like the fall hasn't hurt your kids at all, but I see a lot of the other side of it. And I know the fall hit my kids. So as you guys walk through those pieces, one of the things to be aware of is have open conversation. Try to keep up on technology. One of the ways you can do that is cpyu.org, Center for Parent and Youth Understanding. A guy named Walt Mueller leads that. It just gives you a good pop culture sense of what's going on with teenagers, but especially digitally thoughtful in how you're thinking through technology. I mean, just some easy ones are the computer should always be facing out. Whatever room your kind of home computer is, it faces out. You should have access at any time to go anywhere. I can't think of any good reason why a teenager, much less an adult, would need to delete internet history. I don't think it needs to happen. And then just be aware, even some sites that might look a little bit, oh, that looks okay, that looks okay. Visit it, check it out, see what it's like. And then just have really open and honest conversations so that you can get to the heart of some of this. Lots of times when we have these conversations, the kids are feeling convicted, because that's what the Holy Spirit does. If they believe the gospel, they'll be convicted, and so they sit with us. Say, I'm so sorry, I feel horrible about this. And our first question is always, usually one of the first questions is, do mom and dad know? They don't know. And our heart to them is, they're going to need to know, and we're going to have to tell them. And most of the time we don't have to do this. It's either you or me, and you can pick, and you got 5 minutes. We don't usually do that kind of a hard line, excuse me. But we will be pushing them that way to talk to you. But that's some of our heart in wanting to help you think through technology with your kids. And so if you didn't get that email from us about thinking through that piece, please don't leave here without us getting your email address. I'll write it down here, and we have Mary Truesdale, who really is the brains behind the whole operation, and keeps us alive around here. She'll be happy to get you on that list. So have honest conversations, clear communication. That would really help you well in where you're headed. So little equipping piece there for you. Just want to make sure you are thinking through those pieces. I especially appreciated a little email I got last night. I hope this is okay. I didn't say I was going to say it. I got a little email from Erica, and she had given me this little digital contract on your green. We're going to give you this little machine, this little iPod, but we're going to make some agreements. Here's what you're supposed to use, and here's what you're not supposed to use. And here's the way we're going to handle it. Here's the way we want you to handle it. And it just had just enough little sarcasm in there, like, when you're with friends, put it away. Actually talk to them. It's good to be with people. Every now and then, look out the window, because it's really pretty out there. So you should be out there all the time. Just gave some parameters on how much time and those kinds of pieces. Be happy to share that with you as well. I would like to pray as I transition to Jordan and Lucas and give them some basic and what they want to share with you, if that would be okay. Hey, Jesus, thank you for these parents. You're sovereign, and you gave teenagers here first for these parents. And I pray that you would equip these parents to parent well, that they would think well, that they would be wise and discerning, and that you would guide them with your word, that they would know how to parent the specifics of each one of their kids, that you would allow them to walk around the corner just at the right time, especially related to technology, that the teenagers who might be trying to cover their tracks couldn't, so that parents could disciple their kids well. In all areas, not only technology and purity, but in all areas, I pray you give these parents insight, Holy Spirit, to know how to care well, shepherd well, love well, model this unconditional love. When these parents fail, I pray you give them quick desire to repent, put their sins on the cross, and believe the gospel, and that they can lead out of this great grace that you have for them. Thank you for our time together, for the moments we get to share here. Thank you for the food, for all the hard work that went into that. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, I think next up, Jordan's going to share a few things.
Hey, my name is Jordan Cron. I'm just really excited to be able to pastor many of your high school students and many of your students that are going to be high school students and are going to be connecting with our ministry. One of the main reasons why I'm so excited about that is that the high school age was actually the critical time in my life when I realized I didn't believe the gospel. I thought, I was realizing what was going on in my heart was that I thought that there weren't really any good reasons to believe the gospel. Growing up here, it was literally, my parents have gone here since birth. Since I was born. Before that, so did Awana Ministry, Children's Ministries. I think Judy Hollander, she joined the team shortly after I left Children's Ministries, and so thinking about youth pastors and people like that who have been a part of my life. But in high school was a really critical point when I realized I don't think I believed the gospel. But at about 16 years old, while I was hanging out with my grandparents, I was working on their farm. They were investing in me. My grandpa loved to be able to talk to me about Jesus. Came across some certain apologetics resources and realized there are actually really good reasons for why I should believe the gospel. And so that was kind of just this turning point in my life to make me realize that I want to do all that I can to be able to turn from sin and turn towards Jesus in faith and follow Jesus in faith. And so that's why I love getting to work with high school students, mostly because I want to see them kind of experience that same point in life where they realize, many of them realize, I don't believe the gospel, or maybe even they go, I believe the gospel, but I want to continue pressing into Jesus, or maybe recognizing I want to believe the gospel. I want to follow Jesus with all that I have. Working with and talking with a high school student today, where there's kind of a lot of mess, just trying to figure out some details is kind of frustrating, but at the same time it was encouraging, just seeing him kind of realize some areas in which he's falling short. So it's just reminding me, yes, I love this point in life where there's so many really rough edges, and students are realizing the beauty of the gospel and wanting to follow Jesus. And so that just makes me really excited to be able to work with high school students. Me and Lucas wanted to bounce back and forth to just share on specific things. If you have questions, we can do like a Q&A thing at the end, or if you're bold, you want to shoot up your hand, I'm more than happy to be able to answer questions. But first thing that I wanted to be able to talk with you guys about is Sunday morning high school ministry. So every Sunday we gather here 9 a.m. to about 10:15, or depending upon how long-winded I am, could go 10:30 or even 10:45. Ken both will attest to that because I don't shut up sometimes. But during that time, we really view that as an equipping time for high school students, trying to complement what's going on in corporate worship, where Josh Black or somebody else is getting the opportunity to preach the word, and we're gathering as a whole body to be able to worship God. And our time is really more secondary in comparison to that, but still really important because we want to see students equipped in a variety of areas. And so this fall semester, we're going to be talking about apologetics, which is key in my conversion, so that's why it makes me really excited about it, that I get to talk to kids about what brought me, or one of the things that the Lord used me to come to faith in Jesus. And so I love getting books and reading books about this. And this Sunday, we're going to be talking about how do we know which book should be in the Bible. There's a lot of books that Gospel of Peter, Gospel of Thomas, that it kind of makes a high school student go, well, shouldn't we listen to those books? Or there's kind of a mess in the first century. Like, how do we think about our Bible, and how do we know that these books should actually be the books that we go to think about God, to think about Jesus? So I'm excited about that this Sunday, or these Sundays for the fall semester, to talk about apologetics. And second of all, I wanted to let you guys know about our high school ministry, Facebook page. One of the things that we use to communicate to anybody, it's a closed Facebook group, and I would encourage you to join it. If I post too much stuff on there, you feel free to turn off how often it lets you know about stuff. But one of the things we want to do there is we want to publicly not publicly, but in this closed group, so outside people can't view it, is to post pictures or post stuff about upcoming events, so that students can see, maybe an event they've just been at, whether it's a focus retreat or a camp or things like that. They can kind of relive some of those memories through pictures, or they can look at news. I've also been posting some of the teaching that I've done. I'll kind of post some of my notes on there, just so people can kind of recheck those out if there's things that they want to be able to remember. So if you as a parent are wondering what's sort of teaching on a Sunday morning, it's a good place to be able to check out to see some of the stuff that I've been teaching, some of those notes that I've been going over with students. But those are kind of the two big things. Mary's actually asking everybody, just to make sure that it's okay with everybody, there's like a picture waiver that we're going to have people signing, just to make sure that everybody's cool with their kids' pictures being posted, high school ministry only, to this group. And once again, there's not like outside people that can access this. If you're not in the group, you try to access the group. I think it's blank. but it is a good part. It is a good opportunity for students to kind of relive some of those memories, and I think it kind of just gets people excited to remember that time where, I mean, I'm thinking of some of my favorite pictures. We've got 4 guys, and they're like jumping on top of each other, and how much they just love being able to see some of those things that have happened over guys' trips or things like that. And so that's just one of the ways that we want to communicate. And so I'd encourage you as parents to join that, to check that out, and to kind of see, maybe if you want to see what's going on at events, if you weren't able to experience it, it's an opportunity for you to go and look and see maybe some of the things that your kids have been having fun with, or even if they're there, to check in, or just get there, what's going on, I don't see you in the picture. But that's some of the things that I'm just joking, the kids probably don't see it, hopefully. That's one of the things that we want to use for high school ministry only, to communicate. But if you would search for that, it's First Free High School Ministry on Facebook, or there's a link under students on the First Evangelical Free website. But those are the first 2 things that I wanted to talk to you guys about, and then Lucas has something else that he wants to share about next.
All right, name's Lucas McGarity. I work with middle school students. I often get distracted, just like middle schoolers. So if I start to get distracted, let me know and be like, hey, it's build time, let's focus. So on Sunday mornings in middle school ministry, we are doing a curriculum called the Gospel Project, and that is basically a discussion-based curriculum. So we teach for about 5 minutes, we discuss a question, then we talk about what you all discussed, we teach for another 5 minutes, discuss a question. So it's very like, you do this, and you do this, and you do this again, and you're over here, and you're here, and here. So it helps with the distraction, and sometimes you gotta lay the smacks down and be like, hey, I'm talking, look at me. But most of the time they do really well, so you know what your middle schoolers are doing on a Sunday morning. They are listening, it seems to me, they're looking at me. We're teaching them lots of listening techniques, but it is going well. And if you would like to take a look at what we are actually teaching on a Sunday morning, I have a copy, I have 2 copies of it, so we can just pass that out, or if you want me just to photocopy just a lesson for you or something along those lines, just let me know. Feel free just to get in contact with me, and I will give you this gladly. It's no problem at all. But on a Sunday morning, there are people that are leading discussion groups, and on Wednesday nights, there are people that are leading small groups. And so I want you to know who these people are, and so that way, if you have some sort of grief, you don't come to me, you come to them. I'm just joking. No. So if you have a 6th grade guy, I am their small group leader, along with that guy right over there, Nathan Ehrlich in the red. And so we are leading 6th grade guys small groups. 6th grade girls is Kristen Weddle right here in the back in the gray, with Riley Hammond. They are college students at Wichita State. 7th grade girls is Deborah Stinghelle along with Brooke Krause. That is a wonderful group, just so you know. Whistle, just so you get that. 7th grade guys is John Haig right over here, and Alex Keiss, who I don't think is here, but he also has a 7th grade guy as well. And 8th grade guys, Dave Truesdale, he's back in the corner. Dave is a long-time veteran of middle school ministry. On a Sunday morning, if we do not have Dave's viral video, there is an uproar and an almost small riot. That's happened a couple of times, and we've learned to always have a video.
Dave was my small group leader too.
Yeah, and he's been around. He knows these things. With Dave is Jordan Lukert. He has 1 class, so he's almost done at Wichita State. He lives right over here in these apartments. And the 8th grade girls small group leaders are Mary Truesdale right over there. You can thank her for all the wonderful cupcakes or any other food decisions that are ever made in youth ministry. It's always her. And like one time we decided we wanted to put lead weights on kids' wrists. And then Mary's like, you can't put lead on their skin. And we're like, good idea. We have ideas, sometimes they're not the best. But with Mary is Andrea Lindstrom. She is a physics teacher at East High. She is in her 2nd year of teaching physics there, so that is what she's doing. So Andrea Lindstrom is her name. Those are our leaders. My phone number, if you ever need to get a hold of me, for any sort of a purpose or reason is area code 785. Topeka kid, so 213-0862. 785.
Hold on. Technology is savvy.
Seven. 8. 5. 213-0862.
What?
I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you here.
39.
Ty has my phone number. That's fine. 785-213-0862. So feel free to. I'll just email it all to you. We have we have one fundraising thing that we do here in Student Ministries. It is called the 52 Club, and it is quite possibly one of the greatest fundraisers that's ever been. I don't understand. Have you ever seen like cartoon cake? We continue to take pieces out of the cake in the cartoon, but the cake never goes away. 52 Club works the same way. We continue to take money out of the 52 Club fund, and the fund continues to grow. It doesn't make sense, but 52 Club is basically, it is a way for people to provide scholarships for students to come on specific retreats and summer events, and ways that you can come on a retreat or summer event to apply for a scholarship is we have a handy dandy scholarship application. You can ask for up to 75% of a trip's cost, and so if a trip costs $400, you can ask for $300 of it. One of the things that we do ask if you are applying for 52 Club scholarships is that your student who is actually filling out the form, so we want them to fill it out so they are applying for their trip, and to do all of those things. So if it comes in like illegible, not able to be read, I can't talk. I know that a 7th grade boy wrote that. But 52 Club is just a way to do that. And so one of the things, if they are applying for a scholarship, we ask that they come to some of these events. And it's coming up on September 21st from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. is we bumped it to 4, so we have 6 hours of actual work, and the afternoon projects don't get gypped. But from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. is the 52 Club work day. And what happens is 52 Club members who have joined the club, they paid $52, they give us a work project, and we deem whether that's a half a day or a full day, and we send a group of students with a leader to their house, and we do whatever it is that they have us do. We also warn them that there are like 7th graders and 6th graders and 9th graders who are doing the work, and so it's like, give us things that we can't really break, like breaking or digging holes or other random things along those lines. And so that's coming up. Another one that we do is May Mulch Madness, and so we basically drive around, people want mulch, we give them mulch, and then we spread their mulch out for them. So that's another thing that we do with 52 Club. And then we also have a lunch that students serve the meals and come around, they schmooze the members and they talk to them and whatever else that happens, those things. And so you eat food. It's great. If you'd like to join that, talk to Mary. She's great about figuring out those details.
I have a question.
Yes.
So on September 4th, that's only for the middle school?
Sorry, September 21st.
Oh,
Yeah. It's both middle school and high school.
Okay.
Yeah. September 21st from 9 to 4 p.m. And we'll meet here at the outpost and we'll go from there. We'll have some sign-up sheets for students. The 52 Club helps us to fund on trips, so we're going to start talking about a few trips and events that we have. The first event is the Focus Retreat. That is February 14th to the 16th. I know it sounds ridiculous that we're talking about retreats when they're in February, but actually we have already thought about what we're going to be doing in July of next year. Whoa, it blows my mind every day that I plan this far ahead. But February 14th, 15th, and 16th is what we call the Focus Retreat. Values of it is we want to talk to students about Jesus. We want to build relationships with these students and adult leaders that care about them, intentionality, and we want to be about prayer. So those are the values of our retreat. There are 3 sessions at this retreat. No, there are 4. Yeah, there's 4. There's a Friday night, 2 on Saturday, and 1 on Sunday. And we are going to be talking about Galatians. and specifically teaching students as we teach through Galatians, how should they read epistles? And so what are some of the tools that they can be using, and so that way when they leave the retreat, whenever they are reading any of the other letters at the end of the New Testament, they can begin to read them and begin to interact with them and learn from them without having somebody else with them to do that. And so they can think through it and begin to apply some of it as they read. And there are several churches that come with us: West Free, East Free, Genesis Church, Christ Community in Kansas City is going to come, and maybe a few other churches are going to be there. And so there'll be about 200 students we're thinking will be there, and so it should be a wonderful time, a great time. The cost is $125, but remember there are 52 club scholarships available. So that is the cost, but it's probably going to be due the deposit around January 8th, and then the final is going to be due around February 1st, payment for that. And yes, I believe that's about it. Jordan? Yeah, that is middle school and high school, so 6th through 12th grade will be at the focus retreat.
The deposit is January, not right before Christmas. Is that
Yes,
right?
we are fairly sure the focus
Okay.
retreat deposit is going to be January the 8th, not right before Christmas. But one of the difficult things about challenge years is that the challenge deposit for us to pay for challenge and for us to pay for student life is actually January 1. And so for us, in order for us to do that, we have to ask for the deposits before Christmas. And so it's just like, we really don't like to do that, but then if we're asking them for them in like October or November, it's also weird as well, because then it's October and we're going in July. And so if you would like to pay the deposit in October or November, we'll take your check, it's okay, and then we'll just like put it in an account and it'll be fine. So Jordan's gonna talk a little bit about challenge and student life camp, or just actually challenge.
Yeah, just challenge. Yeah, Lucas did a good thing and gave out his phone number, and so my phone number, which is kind of funny, it's actually taped up on the wall, 316-371-9634, it's up on the wall. It's kind of like, maybe people are like, why the heck is it taped up on the wall? It's kind of weird. It's not for a weird reason. Actually, on Sundays, I wanted to give it a shot this semester. Wanted to see if students would be willing, if they have questions, to text message me questions after I've given a lesson. And so it's an opportunity to kind of get feedback or just things that they're thinking about or wondering that maybe I didn't ask. And so, I mean, I'd say maybe 60% of high school kids, maybe more, have cell phones. And so that's an opportunity for them if they've got something that's kind of racking their brain, or maybe I just didn't do a good job of addressing issues, that they can text message me questions on a Sunday morning. So I think kids at first are a little bit like weary of it. They're like, you're probably gonna let everybody know who I am. Just, no, I'm not gonna embarrass you. If you have a question that might not be the best, or it's maybe more obvious, I'm gonna keep it anonymous. And so encouraging questions, or encouraging kids to text questions on a Sunday morning, and I kind of answer those on the spot. So that's a lot of fun. Giving it a shot. We'll see if we keep doing it, but that's why my phone number is up on the wall. Wanted to talk about Challenge Conference coming up. This is for high school students only, so the 8th graders now that are actually going to be coming next summer into high school ministry, they're invited on this as well. And so it's July 6th from the 11th, next July. And the Challenge Conference is a really phenomenal opportunity for high school students. I remember when I was a high school student, I think I was 17 years old, went to Challenge. I became a believer at about 16 years old, and one of the first opportunities that I had to be able to share the gospel was on a Challenge Conference. And it was one of those like experiences that's just like mind-blowing, like I can share the gospel with people and people will listen. What's actually funny is that the group that we had gone out with, there was a bunch of groups that were doing stuff around the city when it was in Salt Lake City. I was a junior going into senior of high school. Is that Kurt Romig, when he was, I believe he would have been 20 at the time, was actually leading my group to go do evangelism in the suburbs of Salt Lake City. So Kurt's been leading groups of people to do evangelism for a very long time. Even when he was a punk college student, he was leading young people to go do evangelism. And so it's really funny that he's still doing that at First Free and doing an awesome job at it. And so like Lucas said, the deposits actually due kind of early. We're asking for you guys to pay $100 deposit if you're wanting to lock your kid in by December 1st, I think is that what we landed on. The reason for that is they asked for it January 1st, so we kind of want to get knowledge of this ahead of time, before Christmas, just so that you're not thinking about it after Christmas when things might be a little bit more strapped, that you're able to kind of prepare for some of that. The total cost, I believe, is going to be $400 though. But the reason why that's so high, you've got bus, I think that takes up like $100 of that. You've got 5 days of hotel, you've got all the meals, and so that all kind of adds up, as well as world-class speakers that come and share with us. Francis Chan has been one that's been kind of a recurring one. Louis Giglio came a while back, but the speakers are just phenomenal. I think bang for your buck, I think this is one of the best things that we do all year. And if there's only a few things that we could do as a high school ministry, I would never quit. Want to cut Challenge Conference. It's so valuable, not just with students hearing awesome teaching, but also building relationships. So many of these concepts that teachers get to communicate on, students are getting to talk about that and try to figure out in community, how am I going to live that out in my life? And so I'd say, if you've got a kid who's like a maybe, I would say do all that you can to twist their arm, to change their attitude, to push them on this trip. I would almost do whatever I could to get every single high school student on this trip. It's just such a phenomenal trip. The Lord does a lot of work through the gospel there. And then Lucas, July 6th to the 11th. Once again, July 6th to July 11th. The deposit is $100, and we're going to ask for that by December 1st is what we're going to do that for. And if you're kind of thinking if there might be financial issues or anything like that, once again, we've got the 52 Club, what Lucas talked about earlier. We've got these scholarship forms, and so if you're going, we're strapped, we're going to have problems making payments or anything like that, I would push you, I'd encourage you, send your kid on a 52 Club event and turn in an application. I don't know if we ever turn people away. We're always helping people out. Whoever asks is like, yeah, we want to help you financially to get you going on these trips. And so it's Jeremy and Lucas and we're always wanting to get people to use those funds because that's what they're for. If you're short of cash to be able to go on a trip. So Lucas wants to share about Student Life Camp.
Right. Student Life Camp is for current 6th and 7th graders, and so when they're actually going, they'll finish their 6th and 7th grade year, so they'll be 7th and 8th graders, but don't worry about that. It is for if you have a 6th grader or you have a 7th grader right now, they are the people that go to Student Life Camp. Sometimes there's some confusion about an incoming 5th grader. They go, nope, they do not go. They go to kids camp, 6th and 7th graders, and it's a wonderful thing for middle school students. Challenge is a little more serious of a trip, but Student Life Camp has a lot of teaching time, and it is very gospel-centered, and it is wonderful, but there's a lot of just real crazy and loud, and you get to have rec experiences, and you get to go on the giant inflatables and catapult your friends off into the air. It is wonderful. And so, or if you're like me, you get to catapult other people that you don't even know off into the air, also wonderful. And so, Student Life Camp is wonderful in that aspect. It is June 16th through the 20th. It is at Windermere Conference Center in the wonderful town of Roach, Missouri. Yes. Roach, Missouri is actually the town's name. I've never seen the town. I've been to this conference 2 times. I don't really know where the town is. I think it's more just like a general area. And they're like, we need to call it something. Let's call it Roach. It's right on the Lake of the Ozarks is where Windermere is. You get to go through Nevada, not to be confused with Nevada, Missouri. It's spelled the same, but don't call it anything other than Nevada. They will get mad at you. And they're serious over there. But if you'd like to know more about Student Life Camp, you can go to studentlife.com. And I was going to tell you the actual website, and then start having a bunch of slashes and dots and just random letters, and I was like, that's too much to write down. So you can go to studentlife.com and just find under regular Student Life Camp, and you can see some of the things that they do and what the camp is kind of about. If you want to talk more with me about that, just give me a call, let me know, and that's wonderful. So there's lots of walking at Student Life Camp. You know that for your kids in advance, get them on some sort of regimen right after training. Really, you could potentially walk 6 or 7 miles a day, but never actually leave the camp. And so it's built on this big long layout, and I don't know why they did it, but that's how they've made it. And so there are rec colors, and it's a great time. That's $350. The deposit for that is $50, and that's going to be due by December 1st as well. And so if your students are wanting to come to that, just let us know. We're reserving spaces right now for it, and so we can make that happen. So.
You said multiple churches coming.
Yes, actually, when we went there the first time, I didn't realize it is a pretty much 110% Baptist event. And so I got there and they were like, "Where are you from?" I was like, "I'm from First Evangelical Free Church," and they're like, "What? You're not Baptist?" No.
Is that independent or Southern Baptist?
It really is. And so, no one comes from the north down. Everyone comes from the south up. And so you get there and you're like, "Who are you?" So, a lot of Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana. Don't diss Arkansas. I think it's one of the prettiest states that we have. But I do diss Missouri because I don't really like that place. But anyway, that's all that we have about Student Life Camp. And really, that's our parent meeting as far as information. I know that we just vomited loads of stuff out on you. And so, as far as information goes. And so, if you have any questions, we would love to answer those.
One more thing, I want to throw one more thing out there that we had forgotten about. Next Wednesday is when small group ministry kicks off for both middle school and high school. If your student hasn't signed up, or we don't really have an official sign-up way, so just have them show up and they'll find a place to connect here for our small group ministry. I didn't get to give you guys my small group list of people, but maybe I'll try to email that out just so you know who's the high school roster. But I'd really encourage you guys to have your kids here committed. If they're not wanting to, twist their arm to get them to come here, because just regular commitment to that ministry goes a long ways for them to be connected here in student ministries. And so we love getting to have your kids in small groups. And so I'd ask that you send them here September 4th as when we're kicking off for that. So, do you guys have any questions for us about all that information? Go ahead.
On like the challenge deposit or the focus challenge, since it's so far off, what if a conflict comes up?
If a conflict comes
if
up.
If you get your spot and you secure it, can you get your deposit back for a period of time?
Yeah, we're always wanting to work with you, and we're wanting to make it as helpful to you as we can. Generally, a deposit holds your place and is non-refundable.
Okay.
But I'm telling you that just this last retreat, we had somebody go, "Hey, I had my spot secured and something came up," and by God's grace, we could say, "Good, we can grant you that." But we can. It would be wrong for me to go on record saying, "For sure, I'm going to get you your money back." The line would be, "We'll do what we can. If we could get that back to you, we would." As you can imagine, we have to front a lot of cash on the front end of it, so we'd want to help you out. But we sure understand a December commitment all the way to July is really difficult. So, one of the encouragements that we've done before is give it as a gift for Christmas, as a way to say, "Hey, we'd love to get you to this event." Most students who've been kind of salivate at the idea, kind of like Pavlov's dog. It's like challenge comments. It's like, and so I don't know how you can build that up, but I'm happy to do that video for you, and you can give that to them on Christmas morning. Look, they're like, "Oh, I can't wait! This is going to be great." So, please.
You guys come back here for lunch on those 12:52 weekdays?
Most of the time we do come back here for lunch because most of our jobs are on this side of town, and so it's pretty easy to come back. But there are some jobs that we're far on the west side of town, and so we just kind of stay over there. And so feel free for your student to bring a lunch or anything along those. Yeah.
We have a cross-country meet that morning. Is it okay to come in the afternoon? Or
Oh yeah, and with the work day specifically, it's really easy. Some people sign up for all day, some people sign up for the morning, and some people sign up for the afternoon. And so just when the sign-up sheet passes around in high school and in middle school, most of the time you have to inform your kid, "Hey, you can't do this." Christy, I'm getting married on October 12th, and so she informs me all the time, like, "You can't do that because you already said you do this." I'm like, "Good idea." And so, yeah.
Oh, we're getting married that day? Oh.
I didn't actually put the lead on. Close.
He's not a planner, just so you guys know.
No, I'm not. But yeah, have them sign up for morning, afternoon, or all day.
I was gonna say, I was a little confused, Pam,
between the Wednesday night and Sunday morning, is there any connection at all as far as what's discussed, or do they, if they're not there Wednesday, do they feel like they didn't know what's going on, or is that, like if we're doing Awana and we're trying to get our Timothy stuff, that's okay? Is that whole thing, sixth grade?
Great question.
Yeah.
Yes, with sixth graders, one of the things that we really encourage them to do, if they want to do Awana, wonderful. Let's do Awana 100%. If you want to do small groups, also great. Let's do small groups 100%. And so that way they can really invest in the program that they have chosen to invest in, and they'll actually get a lot out of that program. But if they start going back and forth, it doesn't work very well. And so Sunday mornings are independent of what's happening on Wednesday. And so just so you know that. Also, don't feel that because your student isn't coming on a Wednesday night, if they're a sixth grader, they're going to Awana, they're not coming to small groups, that they're going to be automatically left out, and they're not going to have any friends or anything like that, because they will see their friends on Sunday mornings, and you will get all of the emails that everybody else gets about lock-ins or special events or anything. And so, yeah, know that. But if they want to do Awana, great, pick it. If you want to do small groups, let's do this.
For those of you who aren't tracking, sixth grade is a special year where we have two options. Awanas, your final year, or small groups. And those who want to get the Timothy Award, which means they've completed all of Awanas, we encourage and try to say, hey, finish it, get that award. That's really special.
I was among the elite Timothy Awards. I actually had to ask Josh what Awana was when I first got here.
We don't want to belabor the meeting, but we'd love to answer any questions that could be applicable to all. Yes?
Please let everyone know that the Hello shirt is not the only shirt that some of the kids have. And so if you see them every Sunday in the Hello shirt, it's because they're part of a thing.
Yeah, and so one of the things that high school ministry is trying to get rolling is a team of students that are greeting out in front Sunday mornings and Wednesdays. One of the things that I've been thinking about is that if you're a new person or relatively a little disconnected, seeing those doors where there's nobody really at there is kind of this scary barrier as a high school student or a freshman in high school where you're just like, I gotta go in that building, been in there a few times, high school students are scary. And so what I've been wanting to do is to be able to release some high school students led by Katie Pulaski and Josh Munn to be able to welcome people in on a Sunday or a Wednesday. And so normally there's this like giant crowd of people out front like laughing and chatting and doing whatever they're doing, and they've got hello on the front with an exclamation point. So it's just kind of this funny looking shirt. So some people wear them week in and week out. Hopefully they wash them. Hopefully they're not. If your student serves on the team, they're not required to wear it all Sunday, just for that time slot, and they can put on a collared shirt or something like that. So they're not required to just wear that all day long and wear that in corporate worship or anything like that. So if your student serves in as a part of that, feel free to encourage them to bring another shirt to change into during other times while they're at church.
Hey, one final thought to end on. If you have more questions we want to release, because we promised you 6 to 7. Final thought to end on. There's going to be times when your student comes home and they're going to feel, I didn't really feel accepted, or I got made fun of, or especially females, but it happened with us too. And this wasn't positive, and it was a negative, and they don't want to come back. And our heart there is sad when that happens, and it wouldn't be the first time, and it won't be the last time, but we really care. And we want to do whatever we can to try to set every kid up for success here. And so as some of that happens and you are on the front lines with your kid, coaching them, loving them, caring for them, know our heart and philosophy here is it's helpful for us to know. I just got a couple phone calls on, I didn't feel welcomed. I actually felt all the clicks and I didn't feel like I could be part of it. I hate when that happens. And I tell people, believe it or not, it's better than it's ever been, but we're fighting it. We always are fighting it. It's never going to go away. But we want to help you, and if you can give us a heads up, and maybe you feel like, Jared, I don't want to call and kind of gripe. We love you, and I know you love me. You're actually loving me more by calling me and helping us set this thing up well. So if you feel that happens, bad experience, whatever, you have our ear. We'd love to know. You can email or phone call us, whatever's simplest for you. We just want to do what we can to make this really helpful so that somebody doesn't get turned off and all of a sudden they're checking out from what we're doing. We want to keep them plugged in as best as we can. So we love your kids. We're really honored that you'd let us hang out with them, and we're super blessed and thankful that God would let this be our job. It's like, I went swimming with my 2 little girls and some high school students. It's like, Brooke, this is what I do for a living. This is incredible. I don't know what he was thinking, but I love it. So thank you for your time, for your effort. Press in, love your kids when it's hard. Jesus put them in your place. Let us encourage you any way we can. We've got books, resources, and materials available to you. Thank you. Disciple your kids well when you pray. Jesus, for these people, I pray you would move them powerfully, invest deeply in their kids, and I pray that you would raise up another generation of teenagers who are gospel-centered, Christ-exalting, Bible-focused. And you would do this for your glory and our good. In Jesus' name, amen. Feel free to take a lead from our little sweat women here, and we'll talk to you soon.